All right, shalom, shalom. All right, Barakatah Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to our apostles, elder bishops, shalom to you, Akim. All right, name of this lesson is, if he's doing this to them, what do you think he'll do to you, right? If he's doing this to them, all right, what do you think he'll do to you? Okay, and this is in regards to what Esau, the so-called white man, is doing as of late, right now in the earth. All right, just utterly destroying people, bombing people to hell. All right, and he's doing it to the northern kingdom down there in Venezuela. You know, and it's just a pretense for what he's going to bring to the shores of America, all right, domestically, all right, because it's the same MO: demonize, dehumanize, and destroy, all right, and he's going to do that to you, the tribes, you so-called Negroes, all right, and you Latinos and natives that live in America domestically, okay, all right, and it's going to be worse. So just imagine more propaganda campaigns, more of calling people terrorists. And, as of late, you had that shooting in, I forget what city is it. I'm not sure if it was DC or whatever. But two officers were killed, all right, by some Arabian dude. And his thing was to stop all, basically put the scope pay on all Arabian. So it's the same, as Esau does, he doesn't just go after one people, he go after all, and through his policies, man, he's destroying many. He's speaking as a dragon, according to Revelations 11, And I see why the angels, we're going to need the angels, okay? Because the same way he's bombing, people in the Gulf of Mexico, well, now it's the Gulf of America, is the same way he's going to bomb people on American soil, and they're going to justify it, and they don't care if you're actually doing what you're saying or what they're saying you're doing. It's called extrajudicial killings. Okay, you see what he said about the military guys. I don't know what rank they are, but they said don't follow any unlawful orders given to you by the president. And he said he wanted to publicly execute them. And as we're seeing, the two horns like a lamb, all right, speaking like a dragon, all right, draconian, Draco, all right, which dragon goes to Draco, and Draco is somewhat of a derivative of draconian. Draconian basically is dealing with the extremity or extreme punishment, all right, for the smallest crimes. We understand, now we kind of see, especially what this devil is doing now, and it's nothing new. We kind of see, that, when it says here with great wrath, we see it in real time, and right now he's puffing at everybody. It's really, and it's like, I know I'm being long-winded, but it's really, they're preserving their way of life. Okay, they feel like as though they're at their existence is being threatened. In reality, they're the reasons why their existence is being threatened. Okay, so they're gonna aim at anyone that poses a threat. And for Esau, you don't even have to pose a threat. He'll come after you and he'll murder you. All right. And that's what we're going to see more of. And we're going to need the help of God Almighty, Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai. Revelations 12:12, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And we have seen nobody at this level that move with such a prowess in the earth, like the so-called white man, all right, and the American military-industrial complex, the Western civilization. We've never seen nothing like this in history. Okay, why? Because he is the devil that the Bible speaks of. All right, he is that, the beast. All right, no, he is that dragon. Okay, as it says here in Revelations 11. All right, and not 13. It's Slakia. Is it 13? Yeah, it's 13:11. Slakia. Yeah, and I behold another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb. Right, the two horns like a lamb represents the two-party system. All right, and when you go into it, the horns represent them acting as a savior, and people truly believe like this two-party system is going to save them. All right, and they put all their trust in them. Okay. And the lamb, because what? It's innocent, and it gives you the illusion as if they're going to help you. But it says what? And he spake as a dragon. Okay? And when you go into that word dragon, all right, I believe in the Greek is Draco. Okay, but when you go more into it, all right, it goes into draconian. All right. So I'm going to try not to be too long because I'm on break right now. All right, and two horns. Let me just prove what I said earlier. Kieras is two horns. Right.
Strong's G 2768, Keras. Keras.
Right, a mighty and valiant helper, the author of deliverance of the Messiah. And they play as though they're a Messiah. They play like they're delivered. You ain't gotta call on God. You ain't gotta call on the church. They're the ones that's supposed to help, So it's literally or figuratively, all right? And figuratively, what they are, a valiant helper, and that's what they're playing. So let's keep going. All right, two horns like a lamb, because they present themselves as innocent. All right, we know a lamb to be innocent. Okay. Lambkin. All right. I mean, if you go into the symbology of what a lamb is, it's gonna show you innocency. Okay. But I really want this word dragon, all right, which is dracon. All right. A dragon, a great serpent, a name. But when you go more into it, dracon, all right, goes into Draco. Dracon or draconian, which Draco is a huge serpent dragon. It's the same thing as is here. All right, so it says sea dragon, right? Draco is practically the same thing. All right. When you go into draconian, it's nothing more than a derivative of it, or pertaining to Draco. You see? So the ancient Greek statesman, in reference to laws, rigorous, extremely severe, or harsh, and that's what you're seeing right now. Him being that old serpent, the dragon. Okay, here we go. A little bit more. It says, is Latinized form of Greek dracon. See? All right. And dracon is the Greek word, right? So it's the Latin version of dracon, right? Name of the Archon of Athens, who laid down a code of laws for Athens. C 621 BCE that mandated death as punishment for minor crimes, right? His name seems to mean literally sharp-sighted. That's right, he's sharp-sighted, and his eyes, all right, is sharply and keenly on those who he deems enemies. And he can deem anybody an enemy. Hell, they're deeming babies to be enemies. All right, as we can see what's happening in, the GAZA. All right. Okay, because the scriptures definitely point out the wicked and what they're going to be doing in the time that we live in. You just got to connect the dots and pay attention to what's going on. All right, but what does this mean for you? What do you think he's going to do to you, to the tribes? Okay, he's going to come in like a flood, as the scriptures say. All right, he's going to come in like a flood. Okay, and it's, it's not a game. Psalms 10:1, it says, "Why standest thou far off, O Lord? Why hidest thou thyself in times of trouble?" These are times of trouble. You have people say that, Jacob's trouble ain't going to happen. It already happened. Well, okay, we'll see. Okay, because they definitely going to come after us because we're speaking against, the establishment and how this place is being governed and how and we're pointing out all the evil things. So they're going to regard it as treason, even though we're not, citizens, according to them. We're still 3/5 men, prisoners of war, but they're still going to call this treason. All right. And, the justification, all right, they might definitely round us up, or try to, mow us down, try to eliminate us, unalive us. Okay, and this is what we, the real Israelites, the real prophecy concerning the Israelites in the third temple, right? And that, us being persecuted because the scriptures pointed to that, point to that. All right, we fulfill biblical prophecy, and we're being ignored at the highest levels because what? There are wars against us. Okay, Psalms 10:2, "The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor." You see, and soon being poor is going to be a crime. All right, and you've seen what they did in D.C., starting with D.C. The poor people, the homeless people, they detained them. All right, in short. Okay. So it says, "Let them be taken in the devices," meaning their ideals that they have imagined. Right. So they want world domination. They want to puff at everybody. All right. Ultimately, it's going to play against them. And the nations are the Lord is going to put the spirit on the heathen nations to raise up against them and ultimately come against them because they're an unstoppable force. Who can make war with the beast? And they're having their way in the earth, and nobody can stop them. They're committing all sorts of war crimes, and well, that's just the power that the Lord has given them. All right, the red horse that took peace from the earth, Revelation 6:4. That's what's happening. Okay, in real, live and in color. So while people playing games about, switching up the doctrine and all of that stuff at a time that you're supposed to be locked in the spirit, locked into prophecy and watching the things that's going on, you got people deviating from the faith. And what did the Lord say? "Shall we find faith on earth?" All right. So there's a lot of things going down. All right. "The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. For the wicked boasted of his heart's desire." As we can see, they want a great America again. They want America to be great again, which they're sabotaging America. They're sabotaging the middle class so they can bring in a new world order and enslave everybody. All right. Through this beast system, through, a digital surveillance, digital having or implementing, mandating digital IDs, all right, so they can have full control, okay? So, for the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blessed the covetous, whom the Lord abhorreth. You see, and they bless the covetous, okay, which is what the technocrats, the corporations, all right. The Lord hates that shit, all right. They praise, the NLT says they praise the greedy and curse the Lord. See, all right, and that's what they're doing. The wicked through the pride of his countenance will not seek after God. All right, God is not in all his thoughts. Right, the wicked are too proud to seek God. They're not, seeking the counsel of the Lord. What would the Lord do in this situation? They're not at all. They don't care for that. All right, what they care for is blood. All right, they seem to think that God is dead. God is not in all of his thoughts. Right, his ways are always grievous. That's right. There's no mercy. When it comes to this devil, he doesn't have mercy. The so-called white man does not have mercy. And that's what they're going to show more of. And I know they're going to, kind of tag this video probably to be taken down, but it is what it is. I'm in the spirit, and I'm going to show you something that Pete Hegseth posted, which is diabolical. It's diabolical, but it just shows, it speaks to their nature. And it's the same old Edomites. They never change. Okay, in the Greek Empire, and through much policy, it says they destroyed many, or through peace they destroyed many. I'm gonna get it. It's in Daniel the 8th chapter, 25th verse, dealing with the Greek Empire. And who was the head of the Greek Empire? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. That's their history, and they praise that history, and they're doing the same things that they've done in that time. They're doing it now. There's nothing new. Okay, and that's how we can pinpoint who you are, because the Bible is always tracking. All right, and through the Spirit of the Lord, we're able to see who you are, the wicked. It's okay. I mean, you embracing it, and if people don't see that this is the devil by now, man, it wasn't meant for you to see. It was just meant for you to be taken out by him, right? His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. All right? The NLT says they do not see your punishment awaiting, or they do not see your punishment awaiting them. They sneer at all their enemies. All right? Another word for that is to blow. And they'll blow you away for sure. Okay. All right. And that gesture alone is just an arrogant, very violent prowess, a very violent gesture. Okay. He has said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. And that's what the white man thinks. That's what he believes. Let's go to Daniel 8:25 just to show you some history, and that they never change. All right, and this is how we can pinpoint who's who. All right, it's very blatant. It's very obvious at this point. All right, Daniel 8:25, and through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper. NLT says he will be a master of deception and will become arrogant. All right. Back in the KJV, it says, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, meaning in his mind. Right. And by peace shall destroy many. Okay. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. All right. And he did that. Antiochus Epiphanes, I believe the 4th. Okay. And he was able to do that. Through his policy, he was able to destroy many. What are they doing in this time? The same thing. NLT says he will be a master of deception and will become arrogant. He will destroy many without warning. He will even take on the prince of princes in battle. All right, but he will be broken, though not by human power. And it happened to Antiochus Epiphanes. He was broken. He died of a horrible disease. All right. But this time around, in actuality, the Lord is going to pull up on you. He's going to crack the sky. He's going to come from, as the scripture said, the sea. And that's the firmament in space. Okay. To visit you. All right. And so just to qualify some history, this is dealing with the Greek Empire. All right. But they are the Greeks, the Romans coming back. Okay. So he's doing the same thing, the same MO, same tactics. He hasn't changed. All right. So I'm gonna play this video, fair use. This is for educational purposes only. I know I'm touting and saying some very bold things about, the so-called white man. All right, but these are things that he's doing in the earth, and again, educational purposes only. So let's see here.
Amy Goodman, Venezuela's condemned. Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Venezuela's condemned President Trump's unilateral declaration in a Saturday post on social media that all airspace surrounding Venezuela is closed. Meanwhile, President Trump said the U.S. is poised to launch attacks inside Venezuela itself. This comes as Republican-led committees in the House and Senate say they'll hold oversight hearings to investigate the Pentagon's attacks on boats in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific, following a Washington Post report alleging Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth ordered the killing of all crew members on an alleged drug vessel, including the survivors of an initial strike. According to the Post, Secretary Hegseth ordered the killing of 2 people as they clung to the smoldering wreckage of their boat after a first attack by the U.S. off the coast of Trinidad. A source told the Post, quote, the order was to kill everybody, unquote. Under international law, it's a war crime to refuse to spare the lives of people who are attempting to surrender or otherwise unable to fight. Human rights groups, meanwhile, have condemned all of the Pentagon's attacks on boats as war crimes. On Sunday, President Trump denied Hegseth gave an order to kill everyone aboard the vessel, but later in the evening, Hegseth contradicted Trump's denial, posting a meme on social media depicting the children's cartoon character Franklin the Turtle opening fire from a helicopter on boats.
Yeah, and this is the propaganda, okay? This is the propaganda they use, and this is really bold and demeaning, and yeah, they're willing to, take, or do these things. What the hell you think they're gonna do to you? And that's why we're gonna need help from God Himself, from the angels. He's gonna send the angels, because it's gonna be bad, when persecution comes. All right, the scriptures say it. All right, but the whole time they're posing as people, as if they're being persecuted. Ben your man, not a yacht, not a you. All right, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, them over there. Okay, 2 Ezra 16:68, for behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you. Now we seeing what they're doing in the world internationally. Wait till they turn domestically. Okay, and it's going to be towards you tribes. Now we already see them going after the tribes. This is a light run. All right, you're going to see more generated crises, more T attacks, and they got to blame somebody. They got to blame somebody for their bloodlust, for the blood thirst, okay? And they want to get back to their nature, and boy, are they waiting. They are waiting. All right, for behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. And going to force people to take digital IDs, force people to ultimately take the chip, okay? And while you're detained, and if you don't, it might, there's going to be definitely extrajudicial killings and, executions, beheadings, and all of that. That's all coming. It says, and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision, right? Those who consent and say, okay, I'm in agreement with what you're doing, right? Okay, shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden underfoot. So they're gonna kill you too, and they're gonna over and say you agreed with them. They're gonna force you to take a chip. They're gonna and then you're gonna really be in trouble. Okay, they're gonna first force you to take that gene editing and those shots, or you're gonna eat something that got the gene editing in it, right? And you're gonna be done for. All right. So verse 70 says, "For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord," right? Because that's coming, and all our talking points is going to be treasonous. Okay, you're talking about you believe in this God, you're going to be treasonous. Watch how they doing everybody else that opposes them, and they can't wait. And really, it's really to come after those who have the truth, because we're exposing them. We're exposing them on a spiritual level, meaning we're exposing every aspect of their doings. Okay, and that's what's really bringing them down. And we're the ultimate threat because we have the truth, and we see what he does to people that have the truth. We see what he does to those who are whistleblowers, who bring out the truth about the secret covert operations that they're doing, the secret ill intent behind the alphabet agencies. Okay, and they don't care. They do not care if they're right or if they're wrong. And that's what's so dangerous about them. They don't give a damn if they're wrong. But we weren't given the spirit of fear. And that's the big thing. That's the power of the Lord. Because anybody else would be reluctant, because, they would, losing their lives is at stake, losing their jobs is at stake, losing their livelihoods. And they won't even think twice about not doing this, or doing this, okay? It says, "For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord." That's what's coming, okay? "For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses." And I think it's something they call re-immigration or some shit like that. Re-immigration, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they relocate. It's going to be relocating people into prison houses, all right, where you're going to be surveilled 24/7, and you're not going to be able to eat unless you take whatever they give you, unless you get a digital ID, so on and so forth. It's about to get uncomfortable, like the elders say, man. All right. "For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire," because the Lord's going to lift up his standard. Okay, that's Isaiah 59:19. All right, he's going to lift up his standard. Okay. When you go into the word standard, it means to be able to flee away, to be able to fly away. And we've all had visions on it. I have visions on it. I still remember to this day, like clear as day, troops shooting at us, and we were trying to flee away, and the angels had to grab us by the hands, and we flew away. That's coming. Isaiah 59. Let me not get too loud. I'm still at work. Isaiah 59:19. "So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west," right? Because the Lord is about to make his name be known in the earth, okay? "And his glory from the rising of the sun, when the enemy shall come in like a flood." The spirit, they already got it set up. They already got the troops set up, okay? So when they declare martial law and they declare our speech as treasonous, and that they're going to say they need to be immediately, they didn't need to be taken off the streets. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to come for us. And then they already have a dossier on all of us. They're going to come after us, probably in our homes, probably, at work and things of that nature. It's all coming, but the spirit of the Lord is going to be on our side. It says, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, right? And most of people, this is fear mongering, but this is what's going to really happen. All right. If you see what they're doing to them, just wait. Just wait. You know. Okay. So it says the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. All right. When he comes in, it's like a flood. All right. And that's what the Lord given charge of the angels on our behalf. All right. Daniel 12:1. All right. Precepts that we always read. It says, and at that time shall Michael stand up for the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. Yeah, they're going to be using Palantir and AI to be hunting people down, you know, shutting down people's bank accounts, shutting down people, period. All the platforms that you're using. And it's gonna fuck up people's livelihood. All right. Because your Google account is attached to your phone, which is attached to your, YouTube account. And look, it's going to be easy for them to just cut you off. All right. It says, and that's what? Revelation 13:15. All right. Them that didn't worship the image of the beast. Right now, we're speaking down on the image of the beast. All right. The way the world is currently being ran. All right. So such as never was since there was a nation, even to the same time. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. All right. So, and what even the Lord told his disciples, which he made apostles, that is a mystery. Some of you will not taste of death. Okay. And we're going to have Israelites, men of the Lord. Lord willing, I'll be one of them. Lord willing, you be one of them. You that believe. All right. Is going to be saved from the oncoming onslaught, and there's going to be a lot of Israelites that's going to be taken out. Good, whether they be good or bad. Okay, this is an insurrection against God's people. This is an insurrection against God Himself. So, hey, Lord willing, this was edifying. Until next time, I say shalom.